they came forward as a result of hearing Donald Trump say it was just locker room talk. He would have never and has never done those things.
Sorry about that. I've been keeping up on the whole Donald Trump debacle. Unfortunately, it's over. It's a done deal. So now he's trying to position himself to make it look like it's rigged, which it probably was, for that stuff to come out. But because people can't see that the reason why is because what he said. No, I did not. That infuriated the women that he did it to. I mean, if you were one of the people that were, if you put yourself in their, which many guys cannot do, but put yourself in their shoes, and you know, this guy did that to you, which is sexual assault, and years later said, no, I never did that. Would that piss you off too? Yeah. Why do they keep it? That's what women do in the dominant society. I mean, look how many were that I've met that were sexually abused by relatives, people they trusted, family members. That's that whole, as I pointed out, you know, that whole European thing back in the days when they had lords and fiefdoms and all that kind of shit. They did what they wanted. They would go into the peasant's house. Diet. Yeah, I know about diet also. Go up to their peasants' daughters, and they did what they wanted. That mentality was brought to America. You see that within white males, mostly in America. That's what happened in my race's past. That's why many of us have admix. They kicked open the shacks, walked right in. That's how the rich are, the privileged. So I see that. Okay, let's move beyond that though. They came out, it ruined his chances. Now he's positioned, as I said, to make it look like the New World Order, but he's saying it's the left-wingist. He's forgetting to point the finger at the right-wingers. The super rich are right-wingers, by the way, not left-wingers. In fact, they don't like the left-wingers. You'll see the super rich are always on the right side because that's what keeps their money in check, keeps them in power. And the right side respects that. They bow to, like, the Queen of England. We ain't nothing to do with England anymore, but they bow to her. Master, we're not worthy. Oh, well, as the title said, my video's up. If you click on the link below, you can watch the 50-minute video. I talk about what makes a man attractive. You're going to see acted out responses of how to be more of a playerish. You'll see me stop the video. If you don't like me stopping the video and teaching, don't watch it. Okay? If you're one of those super right brain or left brain types and you can't stand when someone teaches and stopping the video, don't watch it, okay? Just save your time. Over on Facebook channel, click the link below. You'll go right to the channel. I'll put the links to the videos below that, so you can just watch the videos for you guys who are like that, okay? So that you can feel good. But otherwise, for the guys who want to hear what I got to say, I'm teaching all through that stuff. I'll point out the mistakes that Michael Nolan made, even sending me that shit. And we'll go through it and look at the validity from a masculine man's point of view. The first video, the man is a homosexual who's giving it. So he's got, homosexuals giving their opinion on, what's attractive on that, which we, it doesn't mean anything to us. It's not for us. But he's trying to make it available for, I guess, everybody now. I never thought of that. We got to, am I supposed to, teach homosexual how to get dudes? No, I'm not going to do that. But I appreciate the fellow who did it and making it available out there. One of the things he was pointing out is, a lot of body language stuff, eye contact. On one side, he was pushing the emotional intelligence thing that they all like. like, and pushing down the masculinity. Again, there's that whole push to change and distort what are called gender roles. Gender roles are biological. Okay, you're born a man or you're born a woman. It's not up to society to say that a woman can be a man. And I just watched one of my favorite shows, Supernatural. I always call them the boys. Sam and Dean. Sam and Dean is the uber masculine male. Sorry. Dean is the uber masculine male. Sammy is the younger one, taller, more sensitive guy. The kind of guy that a girl would date. Whereas Dean is the type of guy a girl would fuck that night. And you daters, that's what you need to model yourself after. When you see this show, you need to model yourself after the feminine guy's behavior. Sorry. And maybe start flaming or something. It'll make you more dateable. As I give the advice there, you don't find a common grounds there of both. But you guys who are looking to get laid now, you want to study the masculine behavior. The actor, I believe he is actually a homosexual himself, but he does a good job of portraying what straight guys. I didn't like his one scene where he tried to be like a black dude. Oh yeah, that was just poorly acted. But he looked like just a normal guy. He didn't look like he was homosexual. He wasn't flaming. He looked like a normal dude. And normal dudes have a lot of femininity within them, unfortunately. Because as I've been talking about, we've been feminized. All right, looking in the chat box, look like you guys aren't speaking to me yet. That's okay. Again, maybe you're going to watch the video. Click the link below, okay? Click the link below. You'll be taken right to the 50-minute lesson. As I talked about earlier, we're also going to talk about the hierarchy of game in that lesson. The hierarchy of the game. A actual psychologist type guy talks about it because of what he experienced. He had some disfigurement, and he said he dropped his place. Well, I don't know where he's at, but he was actually ranked 6.7 on that site, How to Not, back in 2012, with his disfigurement and the burn. Maybe he wore a turtleneck, and people just thought his lip was like Elvis Presley's. And I want a hound dog. I don't know. But he talks about the hierarchy of dating, which I also talked about. I tried to tell you guys, the hot people have a higher vibration. If you're down here, they're not going to date you. And it's asinine for me to even say that they will date you if you follow something I said do. Some magic scripts of PUAs or coming in sideways asking opinions. That's going to make their legs want to open up to you. They're going to think you're a fucking troll. So he's talking about, usually, and I've seen this, you'll marry within your own group as well as date. And he talked about the people that accept it, they become, they're okay. They find other reasons to find attractiveness in the opposite sex. Like he talked about, girls start liking short, fat, balding, bad teeth men. Now, he's from the UK. That's where people do have a lot of bad teeth. Here in the States, we're focused on dentistry. So we have a nice smile. So that he's reflecting, what's going on over there. Over here, it wouldn't be an issue. Short, fat, and balding. So we got the hots dating the hots, as I've said. We got the middle dating the middle, and we got the bottom dating the bottom. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. I hate it. Optimus, Subspring, Timon, you are correct about the feminization trying to reprogram for years. Thank you for recognizing that. Optimus, lately I've been pulling left and right. I'm a clean cut looking dude, but these past few weeks I have not had a haircut. My hair has grown out, and now that it's little shaggy. Women are digging. It's that bad boy look. They're optimists. Little shaggy. Aren't you black though? I thought you were black. Maybe I'm wrong. Somehow I thought you were black, and I'm thinking MGTOW. Black? Everyone who's black knows that MGTOW is really racist. And maybe you didn't get the memo. Professor Black Truth talked about that and taught that to blacks. I don't know if you got the memo, but what national are you there, Optimus? I forget. I've been working like crazy. I also been fixing my house up. You must be a white guy. Mexican. Okay. Mexican. One of my brown brothers. Light skin. You light-skinned it, huh? That's the better skin to have, though. Sorry to my brown folks in Texas. Yeah, that's normal in Texas. White-skinned Mexicans are normal in Texas. But the Mexican chicks in Texas look better than Mexican chicks out here in California. I know there's some beautiful ones below the border because that Spanish blood, the mixture, all the mixing that's been going on. There's some fine ones. So Optimus says, I've been working like crazy. I have also been fixing my house up, and it's like these broads know I got it going on without me saying anything. It's probably the way you dress, the way you present yourself. Hey, it's working, bro. It's working. Raisin Marcus. Getting a haircut makes you look fresh and more like you take care of yourself. Timon, I have thinning hair and am fat. LOL, shaved my head, grew a beard, got a tan, started noticing heads turning, especially black girls. As I talk about, it's that bald head. I'm not sure about the whole beard. I do know the goatee works. A lot of black dudes get stupid and they get the fucking big bushy beard. Who wants to kiss, what's that guy's name? That mountain man dude? Who wants to kiss Grizzly Adams? And that seems to be a new trend in the Dom DeSantis community. They're trying to butch themselves up by growing the beard. The beard thing's like the new thing to make themselves look more butched out. Optimus says, not the life I chose, it chose me. Amen, brother. They say the game will choose you. Those who have the potential. Basically, those who have the potential to see truth and figure it out will rise in the game. That's supreme. What are we discussing right now? Attractiveness? Yeah, go to the link below. Watch my video. I showed 2 different videos that I looked at where they're looking at what makes a man attractive. Then the second video is about the hierarchy of dating. I am white. My beard is auburn. With a tan, they think I'm mixed. That's working. Make it work. You don't have a bushy Grizzly Adam beard, do you? The new thing is, even the gays are doing it. You know, the 5 o'clock shadow, a little bit past 5 o'clock shadow beard. And they're butch, as I said in the video, they're butching themselves up to look more masculine. But they don't change their movements. I can't do their movements. Timon says he's the one that said I'm white. So sisters are checking you out then. Cool. Kind of more like Rick Ross style, but that's just how it grows. Make sure you keep it trimmed and neat. Not a fan of the Rick Ross, that big bushy black beard thing. As I said, you know, you guys, your group, you guys are starting to grow those bushy beards. Because that one dude, that rich dude, he popularized the beard. He always talks about his beard. The one that has those weapons and lives in Vegas and dates all these hot chicks. I don't remember his name, but he's rich. That's what pulls the pussy, is not the beard. But I've seen more and more bearded males showing up in the TV shows from your race. There's a one where really cute chick. It just came out, and the guy in there has the big bushy beard, but he's like an earth type guy. And he actually doesn't have long hair, but it's short hair. And he's trying to get her out of her shell. Let's see. He says, kind of more like Rick Ross, a Duck Commander Nugent. Don't know who that is, but I'll know the rich guy's name. Actually, I don't know the guy. I don't remember his name. He was doing all the Instagram stuff, showing his babes, showing his guns, and his beard, his yacht that he parties on. Don't know who Ted Nugent is. I don't recognize that name, but at Supreme, without considering personality, do you think most people match to the same level of attractiveness because of the hierarchy of dating? Yes, I do. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to say without being rude about it. I've given the option that the belief is you can date 2 up, or you can take the girl that you have that's a 6, slaps, as I said before, slaps some makeup on her, get her to do her makeup, get her to do her hair and dress. From a 6, she can jump to an 8. That way your ego gets appeased and you feel better. The Vegas rock star nut is Ted Nugent. Okay. Let me see if that's him. I'll recognize his ass. Me and my beard. Nope. I'm not talking about a rock star or a singer. He doesn't sing. He's just a rich guy that's got a pad in Vegas. Just a rich guy. Not the dude. Yeah, I see Ted Nugent showing his guns. I thought I recognized that name. He's a country singer, I believe. That's not him. Young guy, not old dude. Raisin, why do you think cares more about... Who do you think cares more about looks, guys or girls? Definitely guys. You guys know you do. She got to be hot. And girls, they're not so into that. Like if you're an 8, there's a chance you can date a 10 because 10's, that's the cutoff line, 8, 9, 10. So if you're an 8, you got a chance of dating a 10. They're not so into it. But if you're a 6, your chance of dating a 10. And girls, they will be, when especially when they're young, more into the looks. But as they mature, they look for qualities as well. Keep them coming. I've got one thing to do right now. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, I'm back. So we have that hierarchy in the game, which sucks. It doesn't do good for my marketing. It doesn't do good for PUA marketing. That's why PUAs, are trying to tell these guys who are like 4s, you can date these 6 foot tall, hot models if you buy my product. And then when it doesn't work for them, they get all the rejection. They say you got to calibrate to keep it going. Maybe you need this course. And I try to teach more of the truth. Unfortunately, it's painful. It's maybe unpopular. That's why you see so few views, because people don't want to hear the truth. And the second video, the guy talks about how people adjust to the fact that if you're a 4, you got to learn to adjust to that. And he talked about how, when you wake up, you look at the girl next to you and you think, God, this is the best I can do. And that fella, he said he was much more attractive. You see, he had a bad accident. It disfigured his face. You see the burn marks and all that stuff. AMAB, brother. I don't know what that means there, Timon. A mob. I don't speak internet speak. Amon. Do you mean amen? Brother, you mean amen. You must be on the phone, dude. Brother, sorry. So, again, that's why I'm not very popular. What I talk about, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't make you feel good. If you're a 4 and you've been jacking off internet porn at these hot chicks, and that's all you got your mind set on, you have that whole mentality, I got to have a 10, otherwise I'm not going to fuck. That's why what's created all these fringe groups like TFL, MGTOW. I'm incel, which means I'm in celibacy. I don't understand it. As I talk about in the video, I was unattractive. By the way, I started balding at the age of 22. Bald spot back there. But eventually, if I didn't change things and care about how I was perceived by women, I would have been that dude I was 159 pounds, skinny. I wasn't really pumping iron then. I would have had the bozo the hair look that black guys get, won't let go of. And like my father, who put on a toupee eventually. But I would have had the bozo the clown look, skinny, and unattractive. But I changed myself. I hit the weights. I hit the gym. I paid my dues in the gym to get the size I've got. Painful dues. So I grew the muscle. I shaved the head. I grew the goatee and had the double earrings. I made myself on How to Not, I was an 8.9. I was a fucking 6 at best. But I made myself up to that level. I changed myself for females. I didn't really do it for myself. I did it for pussy. And I got a lot of pussy. Optimus. I'm in shape, 32, but the girls think I'm 25. I was 42 and they thought I was 29. When I spit at them, they don't expect to hear the fly shit I say. LOL. Do you get the thing, the whole, because you're Latino, that you should be like, your brother Latinos? That's what, when I open my mouth and talk to white chicks, I think they expected a different type of brother. So I had to show them I had the hardness too. I wasn't one of these educated brothers who are try to be white and try to sell them. I could be a good darky. The keys to attractiveness, Risen's is writing. Would you say are aesthetics, confidence, hitting the gym? Those are definitely keys, and learning to dress, have a good conversation, have that natural feel about you that feels good to women. But you got the right start. That confidence and hitting the gym are two of the key elements. And when you ask women, I've seen so many videos on it, over and over again, what do you like in a man? Well, the main thing they always say is confidence. Every time, confidence. And of course, like you guys like nice bodies, they like nice bodies. How about you give them what they like? Optimus says, I was a late bloomer, bad overbite, skinny as hell. I joined the military, hit the weights, got a career, education. So you paid your dues. That's what pisses me off about this community, is there are some people from both societies, all societies. Actually, I haven't seen Latinos do this, but black guys who are unattractive but educated, and I've seen white guys do it. Why should I change myself for them? And there they sit, looking stupid, talking stupid, sounding like goddamn fools. Why should I change myself for a woman? So I just say, well, just do it for yourself, to make them feel good. There was a black dude that was addicted to his glasses. I make these glasses look good. And you, brother, you know who you are. You still watch my channel. That was some jackass stupidity you said to me. I make these glasses look good. Stay stuck on stupid. Stay stuck on fucking stupid, you ignorant son of a bitch. That's why he's having trouble. Dude, glasses make your eyes look weak. Sorry. Take them off. At least while you're in the game, wear some contacts. What's up, Remo? My brother Remo. Timon. Can or do you recommend a good colon cleanse? Actually, I've done several. I do recommend cleanse your colon out because that stuff backs up in you. It creates halitosis or constantly bad breath, cause your teeth to rot, cause all kind of problems. Just because you got shit petrifying in your fucking colon. In fact, now that I mentioned it, it's time to do another one. When you do your colon cleanse, you notice black stuff coming out of your ass. You know, you take a dump. That's when you know you're getting the junk off your intestines. So your intestines can actually absorb nutrients as they're supposed to do, man. Timon, I've been fasting and eating one meal of veggies for like 4 days. That's pretty harsh. If you have muscle, Timon, you will lose some size on that. Brian, Player Supreme, what's your opinion on veganism? Hey, if I'm a meat eater, my body craves protein. I respect vegans. You look like what you eat. You can still get fat being a vegetarian. It's the grains. Grains almost destroyed my health. You guys remember all the wheezing, all the lung issues I had? I cut the grains out. All that shit kind of went away. I respect that, you know, vegans, you keep your body clean. You know, I respect it, but it's just not for everybody. How should us American blacks eat? A balance, a little bit of protein, and more veggies. The veggies will help clean out. Also, I learned that, you know, collard greens are actually good. I refused to eat them as a kid. I eat Jovina's collard greens because, you know, Portuguese eat collard greens too, like us blacks. They also eat pig feet. I don't recommend pig feet, but I recommend, you know, collard greens because they're full of chlorophyll, which is good for our melanin. But we shouldn't eat European food, okay? James T. That's what was going to destroy us. I was eating European food, pasta. You know, I like pasta. Didn't eat it very often, but I ate other stuff. You know, breads. That's wheat. We have to be careful of wheat. You don't see huge wheat farms in Africa. European food is made for Europeans. They can eat that boxed cereal shit and not have it harm them as much as it harms us. If it comes in a box, we need to learn to avoid it. What do they call it? Fresh food eating stuff. Our food needs to be much fresher. We learned to eat the junk from slavery, all the bad foods, the garbage, and we learned to make it good because we have more melanin in our tongues, which gives us more taste buds. That's why, you know, our Caucasian brothers and sisters, their food is so damn bland. They don't notice it, but we notice it. That's another thing I noticed about, you know, Jovina's father. He's melanated, and he can't stand bland food. Raisin, Marcus, an outgoing, fun to be around, real man, aggressive, relaxed, humorous, personality, overdue looks. Again, that will make you more attractive to the people within. If you're middle, it's not. No, it'll get you more of these. If you're like a 6, you know, you could attract some 8s. Because I think that's where you're going with that. You're worried about your looks. They're raising, right? Christopher Williams, I take herbal vitamins, B12, omega-3 fatty acids, ginkgo biloba. Yeah, that's good for your mind, your memory. Story on that, I was taking that way back in the 90s. early 90s now, because it came out. And I used to do puzzles when I was married, because my mind was active. I needed stuff to challenge my mind. I stopped them for a number of years, and I started doing ginkgo, and suddenly I found myself at Tower Books. That's bookstore used to be out a long time ago. And I started buying the puzzle books again. And I started going through these goddamn things. And then I learned that it's because the ginkgo. It opens up the blood pathways in your body. Also the brain. More blood was getting to my brain. So I need that challenged. L-arginine or arginine. Any other vitamins you recommend? Yeah, the entire spectrum of vitamins. You need your regular B's. You need your C's. There's A's. There's D's. D's especially. If you're even if you're black, you still need the D's. We absorb, our vitamin D from sun. We're not getting it up here. If you're above San Diego in California, you're not getting the right amount of sunlight. We're not getting the same sunlight that was from our home country, where our ancestors came from. So if you're in America, we need vitamin D to go in and get that vitamin D. A lot of us smoke weed because we have chronic depression without realizing it. They use vitamin D to treat people or patients with depression. The weed mellows us out. I don't smoke weed. I just suffer. Good questions, fellas. I'm glad the people that bring my show down haven't showed up yet. Okay, so let me continue back what I was talking about, the hierarchy. Another question came in. Raisin. Not really. I like my looks. My question is, who decides the rating system on looks? Who do you think? The opposite sex. We decide their rating on looks, right? We call a girl a 10. And the fella, the psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever he was, said that we all rate them equally. If you're a 4, you still know what a 10 is, and you rate her as a 10. So it's the same. So we all, we know a dime. When we see a dime, a hot chick. We know what an average chick looks like. Who decides the rating system on looks? Because everyone has different likes when it comes to physical attraction. But there are generalities. Like women say they want tall, dark, and handsome. They can't get tall, dark, and handsome all the time. But they'll accept less than that. So the rating system is determined by the opposite sex. All right, no questions, so I can get back as I was talking about the whole rating system. It sucks. It sucks that you're a 4, you're considered a 4, and your best chances are to date other 4s and 5s. But the best thing to do is actually get at that 4 rating, make yourself better. At least make yourself a 6, which is just above average. Scout, how did you undo your negative childhood program? How long did it take you? I'm still working on it, man. For the most part, I didn't really start undoing it as far as except ignoring it, because I carried it with me through my dating game. That's why I needed so many women. I was fucked up individual. Needing a lot of women to fill the hole in my heart. In fact, I was getting ready to write my uncle. My mom left me when I was 3 months old. Gave me to her sisters and my dad to watch, and she took my older brother, or my half brother, and went down to San Diego because her little brother Sandy was in the military. He was in the Navy, and my grandmother said he's having problems. Go down there and help him. So she got on the bus and went down and helped him. And I was going to ask him, to confirm it, because I learned it from my relatives. What do you need help with? So I'm still thinking about that shit. Not in a bad way, though, because I actually try to step in my parents' shoes and see things from their point of view. The negative stuff, though, like you can't dance. I said, fuck that. I'm going to learn to dance. Okay, that's why I got rid of that one. My dad, he was biracial. In the black community, we made fun of biracials. They can't dance like us, So she said he danced like he's doing a powwow. He had a flat ass, and she passed on to me. I don't have a flat ass, and I grew up believing I couldn't dance. So to prove them wrong, I studied dance. Well, I got a chance to teach. I started this by, first of all, doing this aerobics class where she taught jazz dance in there and did 15 minutes of aerobics. I couldn't do 5 minutes of aerobics. And I worked my way up to 15 minutes. And she worked the class up to 15 minutes as well. From there, I went to this aerobics studio. And then I started studying jazz dance. Then flash dance came out. I was already into it, and that's just kind of egged me on because I always wanted to learn how to dance. So I figured, okay, I was in college. I was taking an Aikido class, which is, martial arts, Steven Seagal. And there was this music coming from across the room. And I went over there and saw these people doing chassés across the floor and pirouettes and turning. And so that looks like fun. That'll help me with my martial arts because I had been in a car accident. And I was trying to, of course, better myself. So I knew that dancers had good flexibility, so I started studying dance for my martial arts. But I enjoyed it, and I always wanted to learn to be a dancer, but I wanted to be a tap dancer. So anyway, I did that, got rid of that. I was never called ugly by my parents, though. So there was really no issue there. I just lost my hair at an early age. Let's see. How long did it take me? So it took me long, to learn to dance. Teaching aerobics really helped a lot because I had people admiring me, women admiring me. So that was really, I had a leg up, as I said. I had a leg up in the game for not taking girls on dates because people want to take the instructor out. So I had an inroad to it. Christopher Williams. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I am a black man, and I used to smoke weed, but not anymore. But they're making CBD oils instead of the HTC, which I don't even know I don't do drugs, okay? So I don't know the lingo. I don't know what it's about. I can't answer that question. I don't know what CBD oil is. I don't know what HTC, that sounds familiar. That's something that they put into the weed, I think. Some kind of chemical. I think it's the stuff that gives you your high or something. Is that correct? I couldn't tell you. I was so disappointed. One of my friends that I haven't seen in 4 years still smokes weed. And yeah, it's in the black community. They pimped us, man. I'm glad you stopped, but they got our race damn good. You know who they are, too. They fucked us with that shit. Funneled that shit into our community. We ran to it. I know, it doesn't feel good being black in America. You got people that want to kill you, that hate you. That don't feel good. Like I was telling someone on Facebook, it's not fair. It's not fair that you don't have to worry about your kids when they drive. Because my boys, you guys saw the sports car my son has. You haven't seen the other boys' cars. They're all nice cars, from Mercedes to BMWs. They're the type of blacks that got to drive the best car. Props to them. My father was the opposite. Just give me a car. That's how I am. Anyway, so I worry about my sons getting stopped. And my son Tracy said, I've been stopped 20 times in the last 5 years for no reason. That's where he just got pulled over, for no reason. There was no tickets given. They try to search the car for, I think he's a drug dealer, shit like that, here in Sacramento. And I'm worried that one of these days, they're going to shoot him. He's going to run into a cop on roids. A lot of them take roids. They're trying to insulate themselves because they're in fear. And I'm worried about him being shot. And I said, it's not fair that you don't have to worry about your kids. It's not fair. It is not fair that I have to worry about my kids or my grandkids. I have ancestry that goes back into the roots of this country. My ancestors have blood in the soil. Most of you guys watching me, if you're white, you've been here, what, 3 generations? We go back to the beginning of this country. And I have Native American blood, which goes back even further, 12,000 years, on both sides of the family, although I'm African American. So it's just not fair. This is my country. Many of you guys, and I don't agree with, blaming white folks today for slavery, because many guys are new here. Your ancestors came after white folks opened the doors and begged you to come here because they released slaves, and slaves were taking up the jobs. So it's fucked up. It's not fair. Our community has been fucked over so many damn times. James T., did you ever deal with jealousy towards biracial men since black women love them? Yes, I did. Jealousy and envy when I was young. Scout, you described your past relationships to be composed mostly of traumatized women. Is this the reason you say like energy attracts like energy from what you said? Yeah, I would say they were traumatized. They were traumatized in their early life. And as white women, as we've seen by the Trump shit, they learned to deal with it. They weren't traumatized when I met them. They had this traumatic shit happen to them. You got to separate the difference. Because the white women I was fucking with were successful white women. Okay? So that obviously, and that's white culture. The incest, all the other shit that goes on, that's dominant society culture. That's what they did in Europe. And they brought that same behavior over here. It didn't just grow in the United States. It came from European culture. So, and as you can see by the Trumpettes, the women that support Trump, they learn to deal with it. And they wonder why these women that are coming out against him, why can't you learn to do it? Why are you coming out now? Well, obviously they're coming out now because he said, I didn't do nothing. That's why they're coming out. And they have trouble accepting that. And, it fits. It works against them in this campaign. It destroyed his campaign. But, hey, should have said that and pissed him off. But they learn to deal with it. They learn to expect the groping. Notice how the PUAs, who are dominantly Caucasian, have gotten in trouble for that shit. That RSD something or another ran out of countries. And he talked about doing it to Asian women. The stuff he's talking about doing to Asian women, let me do it Trump, was sexual assault. Sexually assaulting them. Now, unfortunately, being black, we can't do that. At one time, we would have got hung for just looking at a white woman. Now, I hate to go back to those days, but it's grown so far from that. Now, we're allowed to marry white women and have kids, but that wasn't always that. But so, we can't do that shit, though. They call the cops, they beat us to death. And they'll take the white girl's side. Look how many blacks that went to jail over messing with these white chicks. That's why you got to be careful if you're young and in college. Don't do that. The guy who produced the movie that stole the name from that racist white movie, Birth of a Nation, about the story of Nat Turner. Look what happened to him. He was in college, messing with a chick. I don't know if she's probably a white chick. I don't know. Because I didn't get suckered in and investigate the whole thing. He was found innocent, so I didn't look into it. But look how they tried to smear him afterwards. The racists are really trying to stop that movie. They tried, they failed. Raisin, Supreme, when you got to the top of your game, how did you think other women rated you in their scales? What numbers? I believe they rated me at the top. As Jovina said, you look like a super player who could get any woman in the room. That means I'm at the top. And I didn't consider on my level, by the way. Sorry, Jovina. But you had a nice ass. How did you deal, Scout is asking, with racism within the dating community? From observation, Mostly white girls who are into black guys are rejected and soon have only us to date. At one point in my life, I reveled in it. That's when I was dating the skinnier white chicks that were just fucking, as by white standards, were fucking beautiful. They're 10s. And I remember one, Suzanne. She had a sports car, and she would drive me out to the white community. I live in Sacramento. If you look at the map, we have Fair Oaks and Orangevale. There was a place, a nightclub we went to out there. You was just seeing the white guys' heads look when I walked in with her and her miniskirt. And back then, she just combed her hair backwards, back and down. And she was classy, and she was fucking gorgeous. And I loved it. I was had racial issues. I kind of dropped them over the years. I had girls, as I said, pulled away from me, scolded for dancing with a black dude in clubs. Because as I learned to understand, they're looking for the yuppies. That was the word that was used back then. The yuppies were the guys fresh out of college, white guys, their trendy haircuts. That's who they wanted to marry. Because that guy had potential. He's going to rise up in his company. She could work a little bit, but it's not necessary. She could go to do PTA, get 2.5 kids out of him, maybe divorce him later on, but she could ride that motherfucker. The 3 weeks vacation every year, they'll have the RV, or they'll fly, do their vacations. All you got to do is land them by spitting out one kid. You got to learn how women think. So I've had them scolded, and I learned to understand. It's when I learned to understand, and I stepped in their shoes, I stepped in the white guy's shoes, I saw their side of it, that I kind of dropped the shit. And I ignored it. Walking with the girlfriend I had that won the most physically fit contest in Sacramento. Think of how she looked. And she wore mini skirts. That was the time period. The Robert Palmer type chicks. In fact, she dressed as one year. Another year she dressed as my slave. I was like the Arabian. I have a photo of me in that Arabian outfit with the hair and the sword and bare chested. And she was in, looked like I Dream of Jeannie with, shackles on. White folks hated that. And all my friends were white back then. I didn't have any black friends. My first black friend came when I was in my middle 30s. I didn't have any black friends growing up. I had white friends. Call me Uncle Tom if you want. I don't care. But all my friends had always been white. So anyway, the idea of a black man owning a white woman, if you're raised in America and you're white, that pisses you off. I understand it. So I learned to understand. I learned to see both sides of things. And yeah, once you go black, they don't let you back. It's not just once you go black, you don't go back. No, they won't let you back. Because it's offensive to a white man that is his woman, his wife, if he ever finds out. That's why they don't tell you. They suck 14 inches down their throat. White women learn not to tell guys. And I've talked to white women about that. They had dated a black guy like in high school or in college, and their husband never knew. Anyway, so I learned to understand why, because of the stigma, the black dicks and all that stuff makes them feel insecure. I get it. Raisin Supreme. If you market yourself well for girls that like that specific male type, do you think you have a better chance of getting a 10? Are you focused on just getting a 10? The Raisin? Are you 10 material? Are you like an 8 by looks? Preferably a 9? I'm waiting for Raisin to answer that question. Have you gone to one of those sites and get your looks appraised? It's like appraising a house. Years ago, I said, fuck that type of thing. but there is validity there. Let's see. Scout Chelsea. How do you get females into hypnotic state in conversations? Scout, you really don't. You get them into different states, sexual states, by being sexual. I never sat there and talked to a girl and thought about putting her in hypnotic state, ever. Only nerds and geeks think that way. You mean you got to hypnotize a girl to get her to blow you? Really? Things that bad for you, Scout? See, they put this shit out on the internet. You guys ran to it like fools. I could hypnotize a dime. No, you can't. If you're a 4, do you think she's going to get hypnotized by you? She's not going to want to talk to you. Okay? Let's get real about that shit. Let's stop the nonsense and the bullshit within this community. Unfortunately, I give the brutal truth. That's why I'm not liked, as you just saw. Do you ever exchange the what you gon' do motherfucker look with white guys? Fuck yeah. I got muscles. I'm afraid of nobody. Who saw y'all with white women? Remember, I liked it. I gave him the cold look. Looked away. Sometimes I would smirk. I want to say she'll be sucking my dick. There's a photo that's going around of this old black dude with a hat that says nigger on it. And he's wearing some green shaggy pants. You guys seen that? Where he's got a white woman in his lap with the rebel flag wrapped around her. You guys saw that? With a noose around her neck? Then some of you guys may have seen the photo of the black dude at the mall with 2 white girls on leashes. That's not good. That creates more racial hatred. Raisin said, I would say so. You didn't tell me what you were. I'm waiting for that, Raisin. Let's see. Mario. You're not the Mario that I knew. Okay. What do you think about white guys who are into cuckolding and letting their wives fuck black guys? Ask Grease that. Okay? That's not my experience. He seems to attract her like a fucking magnet. I mean, working for a fucking doctor. Doctor approached him about it. What the fuck? I was borderline wanted to think about getting the swinging, but I couldn't. There was no females I wanted to cheer, but I was on a swinging site in Sacramento. I had, okay, never mind. Some white guy with a Filipino wife approached me. Never did anything. I didn't like the dude anyway, but I never would have. I'm not a fucking mandingo. Slavery ended a long time ago. I'm not fucking so that motherfucker can sit there and jack off. I've already had creepy experience like that. Okay? Now. Let's see. Raids, I would say so, but I don't want to sound egotistical. You say what? You know how you say a girl knows within 4 seconds she meets you whether or not she will fuck you or not? Does she change her mind about that if you spit good okay, good conversation enforces that. So what are you asking me? Am I reading this wrong? Meet you whether or not she will fuck you or not. Does she change her mind about that? If you spit good conversation, why would she change her mind? Your question confuses me. That doesn't make logical sense, man. Scout, I do feel the impact I will have on her life will be too much for her to accept the truth that I am only interested for sex and fun at the moment. Okay, I missed something, Scout. Let me go up. How do you get females in hypnotic state of conversation? That was that silly question. I do feel the impact I will have on her life will be too much. Women accepted it from me. They never asked. Except afterwards, I would get, so where do you see this going after the second or third fuck? They didn't ask right afterwards. I mean, that would be stupid of a woman. Where do you see this going? What are we doing here? I got those questions from them by the third time. Are we getting serious? Because I invited them over for more sex. A lot of you guys' questions are based of lack of experience, as I can see, that you have no experience with women. If you had experience with women, you wouldn't ask some of these, different kind of questions. Christopher Williams. I've been reading a lot of sales books every day. I feel like a businessman, more confident and positive. That's a good thing. Raisin, you're right, Supreme. I shouldn't focus on 10. I'll focus on whatever life gives me. 10s are for later. Good point. Good lesson you learned there. Raisin, okay. Mario, I've been approached by a few of those couples. Yeah. When I was going to that Trinos, which is the swingers club, two of the white guys I was training just talked me into going there. I got approached. No, thank you. Do you believe in reading sales books will help you grow in the game? Reading books, period, will help you grow, period. Sales books are good because you learn to sell yourself. And that's basically what you're doing with women. You got to sell yourself. Sell yourself as you're the type that she wants to be with. And what is marketing? Marketing is taking a product and getting it to the market that wants it. So you're the product, right? Let's say you go to the store, you're looking for a new XYZ. And you go down the aisle, you're looking at all different XYZs, and the one that attracts you is the one that has the right packaging. But let's say you see some XYZs where the package is all broken into, all shady looking, shabby looking. Those are guys that show up in the game all badly dressed. Of course, you're not going to buy that. You're going to go for the one that's packaged the best, right? Same thing with marketing yourself in the game. Also, the product has to produce something, do something, right? As men, we're protector and providers. Would you buy a gun that had no firing pin? It couldn't do what it's supposed to do, which is fire a bullet? No. Let's see. Scout Chelsea, I better go back up and see what the last comment was. I do feel the impact I will have on her life will be too much for her to accept the truth that I am only interested in sex, fun for the moment. Then he says, I meant the racism stigma. I got too many conversations going that I don't know what you're talking about, man. Mario, I've been approached. Okay. Christopher, Mario, but something creeps me out about it. Creeps me out too. You're black too, Mario. Shit. You want to be the black Mandingo? You know what Mandingo is? It's from the 70s movies. There was a movie called Mandingo. He was a big buck on the plantation. Fucking the master's wife type thing. That's what the whole situation makes me feel like. I'm fucking master's wife for him. So he can get her, so she can get off. Raisin. I meant like say she doesn't feel attracted to you from the get-go. When you're done talking to her, she sees you attractive because you're good conversation. Okay, if you're talking about a dime, she's never going to see you as attractive. Chicks, why do you think a chick would date down? Do you know her friends who are other hot chicks would clown her for that? Obviously, you're not aware of that social dynamic there. So let me explain it to you. They expect them to date their own level. And they do. Because they don't look bad to their friends. Just as you wouldn't want to look bad to your friends. It's the same thing. Don't hate them for it. Don't be angry at women for it. That's just the social, mankind's dynamics. Okay? So, if you're down here, your conversation will work on females that are down to your own level. Because a hot chick is not going to continue a conversation with a guy that's way below her level. She'll be nice to you and get rid of you real quick, as you've seen women talk about in the videos I've put up recently. Raisin Marcus, Supreme, should I try to get every girl's number that I have good conversation with? Are you hoe chasing when doing the confidence kicker course, or should I not? Okay, no. The confidence kicker course boot camp is for your growth. It's not about trying to get chicks' number, because you do that, start doing that, and they don't give you the phone number, you're gonna feel bad, which will destroy your confidence. The very opposite of what I'm trying to get you to build. Do you see that? Understood. Thanks. You're welcome. Be more in your mouth. He asked, he might be a troll, name Be More in Your Mouth. How do being successful make you more attractive? Look at Donald Trump. I'm going to use him for the rest of my life. Look how ugly that motherfucker is. Look at his wife. Women do like successful men. Those are called hoes. I'm not talking about whores who sell themselves, but hoes. Hoes have a huge survival instinct. They want, okay, he says not a troll. They want a man that can protect them. That's just a survival instinct that women have. All women want a man that can protect and provide. They love powerful men. Success gives you more power. Raisin, understood. Thanks for explanation. Scout Chelsea, really be more hug. Some questions here. What are the bases of mastering conversation? Get my conversation course. That's way too much to talk about in the video. But the quick clue is just work on being a human being and getting her life story. Find out how much you can about her. That's the real secret of the conversation. Not interrogation, but follow the flow of conversation. Like she's talking about the subject, ask more questions about the subject. Simple as that. Show an interest in her as a human being. A guy came to my house. I haven't seen him in 40 years. Our conversation flowed. I actually recorded it. But because he said some things, about his life, I'm not going to let you guys listen to it. But if you listen to it, we asked each other questions. What did you do after I was in high school? He's actually a year older than I am. He disappeared. I didn't know he went to the Army. I asked him about his Army days. I asked him about, what they experienced. He got stabbed in Germany by some gypsies. I said, I didn't know they're German gypsies. I know they're all over Europe, but, that's too bad. His friend got surrounded by 6 of them. He jumped in to help them. One of the high school friends I knew, that he knew, that I knew of, got shot. I learned all this stuff. I asked him questions. How's his mother? He showed me photos of his house. He's got an RV. He's driving, the new Challenger. He had a 340 Challenger back then, and I said, "Remember that lime green Challenger?" We had a conversation, like human beings. I'm curious about the name Be More in Your Mouth. Is that some kind of sexual thing? Or are you talking about be more of a communicator? I'm a poet and didn't know it, right? I was a poet, didn't know it. He says, I'm a poet that have low confidence. I sit in my room, write songs. People look up to me, but I'm completely blind. Are you writing a song now? Sound like it. Raisin Marcus, Supreme. I want to buy the active listening program in your store, but the video you say to watch doesn't work. That's right. Raisin, this is my second channel. My first channel was closed up because I had too much copywritten material on there. And I forgot that those are where the videos were. Sorry about that. Totally forgot about that. But the video say to watch doesn't work. It's important to know how to download the program. Okay, so right click on it, on the link, then click select target if you're on Firefox. I believe select target as Internet Explorer, select as, whatever it is. A box will come up. Click on download to your desktop so you know where to find it, and then just click download. Back then when I was doing this stuff, I'm serious, man. Don't laugh. A lot of people don't know how to download shit from a link. I'm serious, a heart attack, man. How should I approach choosing at the gym? If they're choosing at the gym and your workout's over, her workout's over, step up. I prefer that you try to catch her when she leaves the gym, you know, because the gym is holistic. You go there to work out, to train your bodies, not to meet chicks. Be more in your mouth. No, I'm saying I'm too smart, but too dumb to get women. Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of fellas who are intelligent. But it's really good that you recognize that. Be more in your mouth. Raisin, okay, pretty simple. I, though, like you, only had one chance to... I thought, like you, only had one chance. No? You should get a... For that product, just keep the... yeah. You know what to do. Michael. So I sent you with men and women in the room was good as well. Were their choosing. Okay, Michael, I did a video on some of the stuff you sent me. Not to encourage you to send me any more shit, but I talked about them in today's video. Click on the link that's below. You'll get my shit. Stop looking at that shit. The man doing the shit was homosexual. You didn't recognize that, did you? He was fucking flaming, Michael. Don't get your information from homosexuals about straight folks dating. That's your first mistake. I guess you said because you have YouTube open all day long. Stop watching all this shit, man. It just makes you more fucked up. Scout, how many lays, in your opinion, is required in order to start having a woman flowing to you? Have a woman flowing to you? What do you mean by flowing to you? Scout. If you put your game in your female the first time you bone her, that game is like a seed that germinates in her mind. Michael says, no, did not know the guy was home. Go back and look at him. Flaming gestures, feminine gestures, his look. Just because he had the beard, that's what gays are doing now. They're butching themselves up to look like us, straight guys. Scout, they start approaching you like grease, you say. Let's see. If that's a question about Grease life, then you want to ask Grease that. In my life, women approached me because, by the way, they did not approach Grease. They gave him the eye contact. He stepped over. Okay? It doesn't take any lays to get women to like what they see and step over. Raisin, Supreme. When I talk with girls, I sound too hyper for some reason. Why so? I'm not nervous at all. Maybe too overly interested. How do I become more relaxed during conversation? By relaxing. By starting to observe yourself. See when you start doing that feminine behavior. Getting all hyper and thirsty. That way, then step in and start controlling yourself. Michael, learning to adapt is the thing we need to do. Don't forget to click the link below, fellas, when you finish. It'll take you right to my fan page. You'll see the title of the video. Watch the video. Get the learning. Get the lesson. Raisin, true. I should be more aware of my bitch ass. Exactly. Start becoming more aware of it. You notice I give simple answers. I don't try to give you guys rocket science answers because it's really that simple. The hyper smiley behavior is fem thing. I tend to do that. You do that because you're nervous, Mike. And I can see why you're nervous, man. You must be really fucked up inside. You watch some shit that should make you probably feel like shit. I mean, you gave me a video about, for women, it was for women, how their face, facial structure video, how they tend to like, women like the more masculine face. What if you don't have it? What if you don't have the big Superman jawbone? I don't have the big Superman jawbone. That just makes me feel bad. I'm not going to watch shit like that. Raise, you speak the truth. The truth is short and simple. Yes, it is. Eric the Pro, what's up? Are you friend or foe? I'm surprised trolls haven't realized that I'm on. And they're, normally that one dude's coming in. So I guess he's busy this afternoon. I wonder how it got out that women approached Greece. Who got that shit out there? No, he got eye contact. Males, when you're masculine, you get eye contact. Women give you eye contact. Okay? Whoever asked that question, Scout Chelsea. Some people tend to have tendency to get out and get back in cycle of flow of the game. What can you pinpoint the problem to this as? Some people tend to have a tendency to get out. They settle down. They find a chick they like. Doesn't work. They get back in the game. There's no problem. I have no problem with you guys find a chick you dig, as long as you conquered your game, and then get back in the game. The flow starts right back up. It's the guys that meet that first chick, as SR9 did. You guys know the story of my student SR9, and I kept warning him. He met this little female, and she dumped him the first time. He came back to the forum. She dumped me. Then every time he disappeared, he did it 3 times to me. Instead of conquering his game, becoming the master of his game, he got punked out again. She dumped him. But at least he handled it better. I don't know if he's crying at home, but he said he wasn't, crying over it. And men will cry real tears over a woman instead of replacing her. He was on the forum for the month, didn't ask any questions, and then he left. I asked him, why didn't you ask questions for help? I don't know why guys do that. You come into my house and hide in the corners instead of asking me questions. And that's what I seem to attract a lot of lurkers now. They just download my shows or read the posts instead of participating or asking questions for themselves. That's what Rideshare was talking about. Back in the days, there seemed like a lot of people. There's still a lot of people on the forum. This is not as many of them is asking more questions for more help. They're just looking at other people. They're afraid. And I try not to shame people. I even said there are no stupid questions. And I keep telling them, you're bringing the same shit you do in real life into a house where you can get help. Doesn't make sense. My forum is a place where you can actually get help from me and the other players who have learned from me in the same room. Imagine that. a bunch of greases helping you out. Raisin, is lying to females about your age, does that show insecurity in yourself? I did it. And obviously, being in my 40s, because I looked like I was in my 20s, if I told them I was in my 40s, it would have killed a bunch of ladies. I did it because I was playing. I was a player. Okay? It had nothing to do with insecurity. I wasn't insecure. I was fucking dominant. Confident as fuck. But I knew that if I said I was in my 40s, a lot of girls have issues with that. Be more in your mouth. I think you guys should drop a like I did. Thank you. Scout Chelsea, how did you learn the game after your first lay? Wow. Okay, my first lay, actually, I went to a prostitute. I was 17. I saw that movie Taxi Driver, De Niro. I saw it probably 5 times. I love that movie. It amped me up. But I got the idea of a prostitute from that movie, by the way. And we had 4th and T, where the prostitutes would walk around the block. Oh, man, those females look good. The ass cheeks, the thighs, hot. Crack wasn't out then, by the way. So there were no crack hoes. These were healthy. And the chick that I chose for my first one, she was a college student. And I don't know if she was just white-skinned and black. She had like white skin, but she had a blonde afro. She might have been, like a quarter black or something. But she was hot. She was short, stocky like I liked. And yeah, enough of that. Because I'm having flashbacks. You see me start smelling my hand? Because I didn't wash that hand for like a fucking week because I had her scent on it. After that, I went again because I couldn't get chicks. I started reading books on it. So I went to a prostitute twice. Even asked the second time, I said, I'm going to ask because that's what I went there for. How do I get a girl? And the girl's like, she said, a big strapping young brother like you. She was black, full black this second time. I figured, go to the professional, ask for help. I asked my father, how do I get laid? He said, just go and talk to girls. And she was amazed that I was having trouble. Because I was, that guy that came over, I said, my friend William, I haven't seen in 40 years. He was 5'5" and he had all kind of fine sisters. And there I was, dominate over him. I was a buck. I lifted weights and I ran. And I did martial arts. Like I was a buck. Slave buck, big back, slave back. And I couldn't get no pussy. And I thought, sisters don't like strapping guys. They like the softer, feminine guy. Because I thought he was kind of feminine also back then. I never told him that, but he was, soft. And he even got the older women that worked where we worked, liking him. I know he fucked Gloria. And that was one of my, she was someone that married a brother from England. My best friend, Steve, his mom was from England too, and she fucked them with black dudes. He was a mulatto. So anyway, I suffered. I didn't get good to the game. Let me just fast forward to, I got in the game at my 20s, late 20s. Eric, the pro. I stumbled upon this channel a few times. I'm no fan or hater of Supreme, but I'm pissed off because I've been blocked. If you came in here talking stupid, then that's probably why you got blocked. Okay? Scout, how'd you learn the game? So when I got back in the game at 28, I just learned it naturally. I just figured out what worked. I had dance game for a while, by the way, fellas. I was just a good dancer, and that's what pulled the females to me. And like I danced one place, I put them on the box with me, get all sexual and sensual with them, and they want to fuck. Do you guys know who 9 Inch Nails is? That song, I Want to Fuck You Like an Animal? That was my favorite song back then. Then I liked Depeche Mode. Remember, didn't have any black friends. I didn't listen to black music until later on in my life. So I was more into the new stuff that was coming out. the white music that had bait, that you could dance to. Most white music you couldn't dance to, but the white folks started coming up with music you could actually dance to. It was good. MTV started, and a whole new genre of music started. So I'll talk about Boxer Max in a minute, and God Hand. So I was out there, Scout Chelsea, James T. What happened to Boxer Mac? Boxer Mac, I learned actually. Well, you guys know the issue. You don't know the issue. He got into the business. He wanted to teach also, and as he admitted himself, he did the wrong thing of attacking me to make himself look better. Bad thing to do. As that Jonathan learned, because I was helping him out. I was, getting all kind of products to help his site and stuff like that. That's what I do. To turn on attack me was not good. But he later I heard got cancer, and he survived cancer. God Hand comes and goes, depending on what's going on in his life. James T. I'm trying to think who the fuck you are, man, that you know about Boxer Mac and God Hand. Raisin says exactly. Thank you. Don Alfonso. Supreme got a girl on Friday night clubbing, and but we didn't fuck because she was on her period. Should I stay in contact in terms of phoning her in that? Don, I'm going to ask you a serious question. What's wrong with you? Seriously, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Why would you even ask me? You know you should stay in contact with her. Do you want pussy? Or not? Don? Do you want pussy or not? If I did what you did, I wouldn't be with Jovina right now, right? Remember I met Jovina? I actually met her on a Friday, but I didn't dance with her till Saturday. Went out with her on Sunday. She was on her period on Sunday, but the day she was off on Wednesday, she came over, we sealed the deal. She said she'll be off and be done on Wednesday. She warned me. Thank God she warned me. I don't like girls on period. I don't like blood on my sheets. And grown women will tell you, hey, a lot of kids, they get upset by it. Grown women tell you the truth, mostly. If they've been sitting there going on a date with you, they're interested in fucking. See where it goes. So I wouldn't be with Jovina, man. I don't do superficial shit. I'm a real human being, a real man. I don't think, okay, she's on a period, so I'm not going to call her anymore. I would never do that, man. I wouldn't even think to do that. I'm like sitting, okay, when that should be done. So I'm going to tear that booty up. I want a pussy. Like you do, man. Let's see. How was your 5'5" friend getting women above him if, according to hierarchy of attractiveness, girls were dating down? Because I'm assuming 50% of the women he was dating were taller than him. Yeah. He actually said he was 5'7". I thought he was short in high school. I said, hey, man, you've grown. Because I always look back in my head and he's like, down there. So actually the women, I think his wife might be taller than him right now, actually. And he was dark skinned, but he had a nice look about him. I'll say that. He had a nice car. He also had good game. For some reason, he had the ability. It was like magic, because it worked on my own girlfriend at the time. He could just talk to women. It's like Jovina said about one dude that he just listened to me. He could just talk to women. He had this magic ability to. It's like a snake, worm his way into them, but with just his conversation skills. I've seen it. I've seen the females. And, you know, he only dated black women, by the way, sisters. So, and they all were attractive to me. Sheila, she's on my personal Facebook. He told me some of the stories, you know. He had a lot of females. He even had two of them fighting around the corner from me on the major boulevard. They met up in their cars and they were fighting on the fucking corner over him. His ability to talk to women. And he also drove a real nice, a 340 Challenger. Think about it in the 70s. That was the Uber car to have, by the way, back then. If you had a 340 Challenger, you were blowing people away. And that was, you know, in the black community. Girls don't look at height. He even asked me, reminded me there was a dude that was like 5'3". There was a badass in martial arts because we were talking about that guy. And I try to get my one client or student on my forum who's 5'3". I've talked about him before on this show. There was a dude who's 5'3". He was a pimp. Not pimp your ride pimp. Bitch, you better have my money pimp. At 5'3". And he wore platform shoes. He was a badass in martial arts. He could protect and provide. Now, William, he wasn't a fighter. In fact, he talked about how when his best friend got shot, he tried to kick the gun away, but the guy dived on it, so he took off running. He said he ran all the way to Sheila's house. This is in what we call Oak Park, the black neighborhood. And when he went back, his friend had gotten shot. So he wasn't really necessarily, he's never been a fighter. I don't think he's ever been in a fight in his life, actually. So the protection part wasn't there, but he looked like, you know, that driving a nice car. That works in the black community, by the way. The pimps say the 4 C's of pimping. Car, crib, convo, clothes. Have those, you got the beginnings of a pimp. But notice that he said car and convo. And he also dressed nice. He didn't have his own place, he lived with his parents, but they had a nice place. They were upscale blacks. I think his father was a bus driver, and bus drivers made good money back then. He lived in the upper neighborhood. Like he lives in an all-white neighborhood right now. And he wanted me to come over, you know. Blacks, what they do when they invite you over, they want to show off their house. He wanted to show off his house this morning and his RV, and, you know, so I could ooh and ogle and, you know, blow. But Jovino was sick, so I didn't feel like participating in that nonsense. How about the song Snake and Raisin? Let's see. Dating down, because I'm assuming 50% of the... See, it's not necessarily dating down to women, though. If he's a couple inches shorter. Back then, we wore platform shoes, by the way. That was the 70s. He was the one that taught me about the finger also. He said he was good with his finger on chicks. Get them off. Ryzen. How about the song Snake in the Grass? LOL. That was my song because I'd play it during, you know, floor work and aerobics class. In aerobics, you do the warm-up, you do the aerobics, then you have your floor work where they lay on their side, do the leg raises, do the butt work, crunchies at the end, and stretch. And that was one of my favorite songs because that I equate to myself. I was like a snake in the grass, a low-down, dirty snake in the grass. And I took pride in it. I used to laugh. Like when songs like Bobby Brown's, why they always talking about me? Tell me why. Yeah. I love that song because it was my life story. Because I was dating 2 chicks openly. Why are they always talking about me? My girls hated it because they knew I loved it for that reason. What do you call laying the foundation in her? That's the basics of your game. That's where you set your criteria up. Like, you know, when you're fucking, you never ask whose it is. You tell them whose it is. You get them close to the nut, then you start to talk to them. You stop. You stop all movement. You lay that foundation. This is my home now. This is where I come to recharge. This is my words, though. You might have different things. I'm more holistic, more metaphysical, more spiritual. You know, where I come to lay my energy, where I come to recharge myself. Okay, That's the foundation. So you lay the foundation of your game. I don't know if your game is you bitches, you slut, you whore, whatever your foundation is. That's where you lay it. You know, you're my slut. You're a slut. You're a dirty, cheap slut. I don't recommend that, but if you're, you know, you're Caucasian, I don't recommend that shit. But you want to lay good foundation. Down on found so Supreme. I've also got a date on Monday. Hold on, I've lost it because a lot of shit's come in. With a sister, a church sister. Should I drop her or try to date? I, by the way, love church sisters because I like fucking with their minds. I want to become their personal Jesus. I used to love that song. I think it was Depeche Mode. You are my personal Jesus. Yeah. I know, brothers, you don't like that I like white music. Hey, there was some good shit there. KR, what's poppin' player? Nothing much, man. Go below. Good video in the link below. You'll see it. Travis, hey. How's it going? Boy! Big boy! It's going good. Raisin. Whoa. I'm getting that active listening program for sure now because of your 5-foot friend, LOL. Travis, I'm a bisexual player and you're gone. You are the worst human being on the fucking planet. Your type spreads AIDS to the straight community. You're a fucking faggot is what you are. Claim to be a bisexual. You're just a faggot who can't accept the stigma of just being a fag. Bye, Negro. I'm not going to help a bisexual spread AIDS. Fuck you. Lame ass motherfucker. The nerve of that motherfucker. The fucking nerve. Whoa. How about the song Players Only Love You When They're Playing? I love that song too. You've been paying attention to what I say. What horror movie are you going on Halloween? I don't go to movies on Halloween. I stay home, pass out. Actually, I don't pass out candy. Jovina does, but I stay in the back room, actually. The best sub players. What's up? Depeche. Kara, that's disgusting indeed. That is disgusting. That means white society got another one of our brothers. Sorry, white folks. That's your shit. That almost shit started with you guys. You got another one of our young brothers sucked into that shit. No. Talking about I'm bisexual. Yeah. Go get a baseball bat, ram it up your ass, and walk around with it. I'm gonna free you. Michael Nolan, Halloween Ireland started. That Supreme, we do that here as well. I like the true horror stories. How do you show affection to bitches? Depeche? Really? I didn't really show a lot of affection, so you're asking the wrong person. Supreme, have you ever been to Slab City? I want to go. Actually, Slab City is where all the trash is. I don't really want to go to Slab City. There are people that I like, Adventure Van Man, that liked it because he likes those hippie types and the drug addict types. I don't enjoy that, being around that crowd. There are some artistic types. These are people that live at the end of the bottom of society. I don't want to associate myself and drag myself down to that level. Not people that I admire. How about The Beat? In the Club by 50 Cent. One you use for your intros. That was a good beat, man. Raisins is asking that. Depeche, where do you guys go to pull? That's a good question. Hopefully they'll answer it for you. What do you think bisexual chicks? I don't like bisexual chicks either, brothers. I don't want to be around any kind of homosexuality. Homosexuality is an energy that's inside of the person. I don't want to be around that energy. Call me a homophobic. I'm not afraid of fags, gays, whatever you want. I just choose not to be around the energy. I don't want to be around the energy. They have a different energy, and I don't want to be around it. My channel is for men that want to get women, but for straight men. I don't want to be involved in the whole homosexual movement. I don't want to be involved, to the bisexual dude, in case you're still listening. I don't want to be involved in your movement. I know what your agenda is. I don't agree with it. So that was one of the problems I had with the girl that I really liked, named Tanya, and she was bisexual. She spotted my boy Craig, and which I tried to train him out of. And I learned that, you know, I should have started inside, but you can't change a person inside, you know. James T. Supreme, I sometimes use your technique of getting my girl to close to coming and then stopping, but sometimes it takes a minute for her to actually nut. Is that normal? I think I get her too close. I'm trying to understand. Okay, then stopping, but sometimes it takes a minute for her to actually nut. Is that normal? I think I get her too close. Depends on the girl. Okay? I like to get them close, and then I'll talk to them. That's when I do my talking. And then while they're coming, I reaffirm what I said earlier. Depeche, avoid bisexual bitches. Mostly are mentally fucked up. Tanya wasn't mentally fucked up. I had a girl. I did a threesome. Try it out. We got to try things once. And I guess the girl I was with might have been bisexual. She never said she was, but you know, she did it. She knew how to do it. Lick her friend and get her off. And she wasn't a nut. I just choose not to be around that energy. Because everybody gives off a vibration. Homosexuals give off a vibration. Don't say you can spot homosexuals. It's not just their movement. Sometimes it's the way they move and the way they look. You know, I can't do it. I'm not gay, but which means I suck as an actor. But you know, if I was gay, I'd be one of those masculine types. Actually, I can't do the feminine thing. Not all homosexuals are feminine. There are some that act more or try to act more masculine. But eventually, though, you always will see some femininity come out. I've never seen one that was straight dude. So, you know what? I think I'll move to another subject. Because I'll get the homosexuals trolling the channel. Lost the question. I was talking about bisexual chicks. As I said, I just don't like the energy. I don't want to have to worry about my chick. Some other chick getting at my chick. It's not worrying about dudes. You know, if you let your game right. But then when it comes to homosexuals' mind, because these women are actually homosexuals, there's no such thing as bisexuality. If you take dick, you're homosexual. Just because you can get your dick hard, and most of them, by the way, they'll use like Viagra to keep their dick hard with women because they're really not turned on by women. They just don't want to be gay. So if you take dick or suck dick or put your dick in another man's ass or get a suck, you're just a homosexual, period. That's what I've learned. I want to get off the subject of homosexuality because it's not a good subject for this channel. How can you sense energy, Supreme? Can you practice that? How to feel? Yes, you can. For me, it was easy. Energy's always been a part of my life. I told you, I asked my mom, what's that light that I used to, when I drove, my eyes would go out of focus. I start seeing the auras. Basically, it was that aura that surrounds everything. And, my mom, black, superstitious. I told you what she said. Don't say that again. If I asked her about that, she wouldn't even remember it to this day, but that's what I got. I've always been into it. And I taught myself in school. I told you guys I was watching this guy named Kreskins. You can Google his name, Kreskins, Kreskins. He had a Friday night show where he showed, the scary movies. And he's also a mentalist. He did hold hands in his audience. You hide something, he'll go right to it. He was just feeling the vibration. That's the trick they learned. He was very sensitive to that. But that was his magic act. So he would have people on there from the psychic community. Witchcraft was getting popular instead of becoming how they portrayed as this evil shit. The religion of Wiccan out of European history was becoming popular. You notice how they turned African spirituality into voodoo and it's evil? And now they're more accepting of the European one as calling it religion now. They'll still make it evil, though, in some of the movies. So anyway, that was becoming popular. I read a few books on it through my years. In fact, I got books on it right now. And magic. This book right there says, Magic of Thought Forms. I'm more into using the mind and energy. I'm not into sigils, which is actually an okay thing because the success people see the same thing. They say, write your goals down. A sigil is this, turn those goals into this symbol. So every time you look at the symbol, it triggers the memory of your goals. That's all it really is. So I got into energy and all that kind of stuff. And I was looking to get power, though. Like the fellow used to be on the channel, Night Shroud. Not sure what happened to him. He stopped watching or participating. Probably did like something I said again. That's okay, Night Shroud. You'll be back. I'm right about if I said anything. I told him actually he's got to get out of his mom's house. Stop living with mom. And, finish growing up. So I had a lot of practice at feeling and moving energy. Scout Chelsea, yes. Events too. The girls are smart too, therefore are more receptive to my game since dumb chicks just don't go too well with how and what I speak. Exactly what I've learned as well. That's why I went for educated white women. Damn, a lot of questions, comments. Did you ever go to clubs on Halloween, Supreme? Yes, I did. I even dressed up. And then I stopped. I kind of grew out of it. Michael's asking that question. James, I think I need to stop rubbing her clit a little earlier so she doesn't mini nut. You got to learn to feel when she's getting ready to nut is what you got to do. Your body, as mine learned to do, has to tune into her. You're on top of her or she's on top of you, whatever. You got to be able to feel the contractions in her stomach. Your hand is going to be somewhere in her body. You got to learn to be able to touch her and feel all the way through her body. That means you got to open your senses up. Okay? And you could tell it. She's getting, something moves there. She's close. Pay attention to it. Know her clues. She's giving you clues when she's about to nut. Her breathing, what she's saying. And it gets faster. You know she's about to nut. Slow down, stop. Talk to her, your woman. Don't ask. Tell her who she belongs to. They love that. They hate when you ask, whose pussy is this? Don't do the black dude thing. Whose pussy is bitch? Whose pussy is this? Don't do that. You got to ask, and it's not yours. Tell her who it belongs to. Tell her who she's going to work for. Raisin. In a convo with a girl, does her emotions display more in her body language or words? Both. Both. And why? Both. Women are very emotional creatures. You see it in her face, and then you'll see it in her tone of words. Dawn, Spring. Should I leave the church girls alone because I have a date with a black church girl from Africa on Monday? I'm not familiar with black African church girls except for my son's now ex-wife, I believe. They're divorced or separated. I don't like that mentality. Damn, they got to us in Africa. I don't know where your ancestors are from. Don Alfonso, I gather you have a Latin name. So they must be from one of the Latinized countries where the blacks at. So I never asked you that. Don Alfonso, that's Latino. But damn, it breaks my heart that they've been colonized to the point worshiping Jesus like that. Then it's not my favorite here in America. You go at your own pace there, brother. If you could take all the Jesus talk and God this, knock yourself out. Church pussy is good pussy, Depeche says. Amen. Are you Hindi or Sikh? Or what is your actual religion, Depeche? I never asked you that. Hey, Supreme, look up douchebags on Google Images and pick the first image with the 3 dudes. Comment on these guys only because you can't send links through chats. Jack Gentry, I'm actually doing a show right now. What am I supposed to look at? To go out of my way like this better be good and worth it, man. So the first image. 3 dudes. I already used those guys, okay, in a positive thing. They're being called douchebags. They fuck a lot of pussy. And I explained this is your competition in the clubs, fellas. If you're a scrawny, skeezy little nerdlet, as when I was using these Guidos, these Italian boys, that's your competition. So shouldn't you hit the gym? I have nothing bad to say about these guys, except that if I was in the club, we would have issues. They'd be the type that call me a mulyan, but that's another story. I don't see them douchebags. They're dudes that get a lot of pussy. Don't hate. Sorry if it's not what you want to hear. Don't hate. These guys spend their time in the gym. They spend their time, marketing themselves and looking good. Okay? So you guys know what I'm talking about. These yahoos. I actually did a video on my last channel about them. Because I was tired of the bullshit. People that fall for PUA tend to be nerdlets. Scrawny little dweebs. Sorry if you're skinny. Because you haven't hit the gym. And I'm saying, this is what you got to compete against. This is what I was competing against in my days. These were the yuppies back then. Except they dress better. Nowadays, in the clubs here, you can't wear a t-shirt like that in the club. These are white clubs they're going to. They let white guys wear them in there. If I was black trying to wear that and I was all buffed out, they'd probably stop me at the door. That's what goes on. But anyway, these are the cool, trendy guys I was talking about competing against. So I've already competed against these guys and stole their pussy. It's only because they couldn't fuck everything. Most of the chicks, a lot of chicks dig these guys because they're assholes. Unfortunately, yeah, they're assholes. They can't even fuck good. They do the dude thing. They don't even try to get a girl off. But girls dig them for their looks. To be seen with them. This is your guys' competition right here. They're still popular. This type will always outdo every last one of you. Sorry to put it like that. If it hurts your feelings, too bad. I don't know what these white guys are doing. This is just embarrassment. He looks like he's East Indian. Don't know what that's about either. White folks, you gotta stop making fun of other races. These guys are wannabes. They're trying too hard to achieve that Jersey Shore look. They're trying too hard. They're tryhards. And that whole shirt thing, he's wearing a pink shirt. That's fucking feminine. These guys, notice there's dudes behind them. These guys belong in a gay club. That's where they get some attention at. This is some kind of marketing piece. People that wear sunglasses inside have to because it's always sunny in Doucheville. Don't hate. What I gotta say, don't hate. Some more Italian boys. At least he looks Italian. Sicilians, whatever. Sicilians, they normally have brown skin. Matador Network. That's the name I was trying to think of the other day. Which one of these fucks are Matador? And what nationality is Matador? Isn't he East Indian? Is that Matador? This guy looks Italian. This guy looks like, I don't know what he is, Sicilian or something. I don't know. Latino. But look, this dude built the guns. He deserves the pussy. He went out and did the fucking work. What have you motherfuckers done? Don't hate. Don't play hate. More tryhards. But look, he built himself up. These are more racist type. They look like racist type douchebags, except that's Latino there. Wow. That look, these are tryhards. Don't be a tryhard. You look stupid. Trying to emulate something that you're not. And what the fuck? Are these guys homosexuals? You ain't gonna get me standing too close to a dude. And what the fuck is this? A baby picture of Donald Trump? He looks orange. Now those are true douchebags. Guys showing this. Hey, look at his glasses. Look at the body he developed. Look at the fucking calves. Here we got what looks like, look at the big brain on him. A dude with a big brain. Obviously, he must probably works in IT. But look at his physique. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you guys should be doing. Of course, see the balding head, but the glasses. But look at the calves. So most of this shit is some bullshit. Now this is bullshit. I don't know what this Middle Eastern guy is trying to do. You have no muscle, motherfucker. Fat. Steroid arms. That's steroids. And fat. Now that's a douchebag. Not because he's Middle East, but he's trying to be shirtless with no body. You can tell the douchebags by the look. Damn, what are white guys doing, man? What the fuck? They're orange. And they're all spiky hair. That was popular for a while there. But damn, Jesus. I'm sorry for the females dealing with these two knuckleheads. Let me get back on point. You guys see those orange dudes? Supreme, do you have a player prayer? May the Lord bless you. No, I don't. Funny question. I'm not overly religious there, man. I asked you what your religion was. I'll look for the answer. I'm looking for the answer. Let's see. Church pussy. Hey, Supreme, look up douchebags. Did that. Depeche. Do you have a player prayer? May the Lord bless. No. Sorcerers are Asian. Voodoo doctors are African, and witches and warlocks are European, and wizards, they're kind of different. You know, I never knew sorcerers were Asian. I never thought about that. Never knew that either. We're considered, most out of Asia. Interesting. Michael, KR, I remember in one of your videos, Funny Papers, there was a topic about younger women. And I have an old friend who's 41 and women as young as 18 or 22. And like women as young as 18 or 22. Not my thing. Actually, my early 40s, yeah. It's now in my 50s, man. No. Close to 60? No. Suddenly, older women, I know they, the wrinkles, they're actually looking better to me now. And I still like to look at, some young chicks, but young stuff always looks good, but it ain't good for anything to me. The sex is actually better with older chicks, too. Raisin Marcus, I'm on day 5 of the confidence kicker, and I'm attracting so many girls. The law of attraction really exists, guys. Everyone should buy Supreme's confidence kicker. Your confidence changing. Women feel it. Jack Gentry, yeah, I know, definitely. And that goes, I'm not hating. I want you to comment on these guys and tell these punks what's up. Last time I went to the club, I wore a tank top. They let it slide. Cool. You're probably white too, man. I'm 230, 10% body fat. That means you're buffed. You probably have like a 30, at 10%, you're probably like a 32. I was 225 with a 34-inch waist. My six-pack was a little on the smoother side. Not as bad as Luke, the new Luke Cage guy, just a little bit leaner. Michael, I can gain muscle easily. I was born decent muscle genetics. That's true, Michael, you were. There are 3 good-looking, the first 3 are good-looking douchebags, yeah. Raisin, Supreme. Is it cold approaching if a girl smiles at me? I step over? No. While during confidence kicker, do I say hi to those girls who do that, or do I try to hold a conversation with them? Okay, if they're giving you eye contact, step over and see how far the rabbit hole goes. Basically, try to pick them up. They give you eye contact. That's a signal, hey, I like you. Please come over. Otherwise, they think you're a faggot. Raisin, LOL, exactly. They look like faggots. To the fellas I said look like gay, they're all close together and shit. Funny about black dudes. When we were kids, we went to the movies. We didn't sit next to each other. There's about 6 of us. We take up the whole fucking row and be yelling down, yeah, because we don't want to be sitting next to each other. At least 2 different seats between us. And you got to lean over to pass the popcorn. That's black culture. They're orange. Holy shit. Too much tanning. It's now 4:30. Jovina just woke up a few minutes ago again. I forgot to eat lunch. I forgot to take my meds. Oh, no. Jovina has got a thing, this whole tray thing, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and she fills, puts all this stuff in there. And all I gotta do is go in there and get it. Didn't even do that. See how far the rabbit hole goes, Raisin says. Does that mean at the end of the conversation, try to get her digits? Yep. Let me show you. Let me teach you. Hold on. Let me stop coughing. Hey, Jovina. It's been nice talking to you. Let's do this again. Here. Put your number on my phone, and I'll give you a call sometime. We can do coffee or something. Just like that. Here. Okay? That's how I like to do it. Why do I seem non-committal? Because I don't want to think I'm thirsty. If you go watch the video, I talk about that in the video. Okay, so it's that easy. They're raising. If you gotta, try to have a 3-minute conversation. Hey, I gotta go. I'm sorry to interrupt, but how about you put your number on my phone? I'll give you a call sometime. Maybe we can do coffee. Hand it to her. Do the action of take it out, hand it to her. You gotta have action. Everything is action oriented. If someone gave you a phone, you would follow their orders. You wouldn't object, right? So you're more likely to get the digits by handing the phone as you say it. Practice it at home. It works. Michael, you have to get the number. It's very basic. She's either going to say yes or no. More likely, she'll give that number. What I just taught, way up there. If she's not interested or she has a boyfriend, because girls will talk to you even if they got a boyfriend. If you don't get this, she'll say, well, I actually have a boyfriend. Don't take it as rejection, okay? Because the fact that she talked to you for 3 to 5 minutes, okay? That's why I'm afraid while you're building your confidence of you doing this and allowing it to destroy the confidence that you're now feeling. Actions talk louder than words right now, Raisin says. Michael mistakenly says, or let's go back to your place. Wait, you have the number, it's very basic. She's going to say yes or no, more like she have the number. Or let's go back. I would never think that in 3 minutes, a girl that I met on the streets, I know I did that one time at the hot dog line, 3 minutes, we were fucking. But most chicks aren't going to do that. That's very cheap. Okay? I just got a feeling out the chick, and I just went for it. It worked. But a chick you meet on the streets, do not go back to their place. You need way more conversation. And in the book, How to Pick Up Girls, they talked about the street pickups and then going to coffee. Hey, are you busy? Let's go get a cup of coffee. How hard is that to say, fellas? Hey, you're not busy right now, are you? Cool, let's go get a cup of coffee. Grab her hand, start walking. How hard is that? I feel like Trump. How hard is that? Seriously, how hard is that? You see how easy that is? Did it take some kind of magic line? Some A1, A2, A3 shit? Just normal conversation. If she said I have a boyfriend, then she would not choosing you. Ho chased her. Some girls, even with boyfriends, they do give guys eye contact. But he's right, though. You're definitely on point. Michael, that's not cheap. I just say that let's go back to yours. I don't mind cheap one-night stand. Okay, you say that's not cheap, but you don't mind a cheap one-night stand. It is cheap. I don't like one-night stands. Now you guys wonder why. Because I want more. If it's good. If it's good, if she's able to follow my direction in bed, that's the female I want to work with. Duh. I want her on my team. If she's very feminine and knows how to take my direction and responds. I'm not going to get rid of a girl that responds to my sex hypnosis stuff, my mind fucking. And she can nut. Do you know how special a girl is that can easily orgasm? That just takes all the pressure off you. You get to have fun and play. The girls that come very easily, they're like the best women on the planet. When you learn this, you'll see what I'm talking about, because they can have orgasms very easily. They come a lot. Then you get to play. Then you get to play with it. You stop it. You start talking shit. You know, most of you guys struggle to get a female off, but when you ain't gonna struggle, that takes all the pressure off of you, and you feel like, damn, I'm good. You get that feeling. I still get that feeling. Damn, I'm good. Jack, if you do get in, that you better fuck her better than the next dude. Yes. You always better fuck her better than the other dude she's fucking. Because women have choices. And don't think someone ain't in the pussy. Women have options. Hey, that's what they call the sexual revolution. Raisin, I was talking to these two black chicks on the bus, holding some good conversation. Believe me, why was every guy in the bus looking about us? Jealousy. Just because no one does that in the buses, right? Jealousy. And it's actually time for me to roll out. I've been doing this for 2 hours. I thank you guys for your comments. Again, go watch my video. Link below. What makes men attractive? Definitely something you want to learn. If you're in the game, trying to prove your game. And also, I'm going to talk about the hierarchy of the game. Click the link below. You'll go right to my fan page. I don't think you need to belong to Facebook to click on a link to a fan page, but whatever. No, like the video also, if you like it. And leave a comment. Okay? Like and comment. And KR says, you're right, women do have options. They sure in the fuck do. And your woman has options, KR. Like I told Jovina, you know, she can leave right now in her tight-ass jeans and her heels and go to the gas station. She can go to the fucking grocery store. Now, I live in South Sac. KR, you know what I mean when I say South, right? Because we're always in the southern part of towns where they put all the blacks. So all she got to do is go to that grocery store all dressed up. Now she doesn't go like that. She dresses way down in sweats and her little flat shoes and no makeup to avoid the attention. For us, it'll take us a little bit more time to replace. She can replace me right now. Because that's how, you know how brothers are, KR. Non-sister with ass. Raisin, one more question, Supreme. How do we know when you're live streaming again? You don't. I have no idea how you guys find it. KR, how do you guys find this shit? You know, when I do pay attention, I go to the YouTube channel and I see live right now. So it probably does the same thing. In your recommendeds. If you have liked my channel and subscribed, it'll show in your recommendeds and you'll see it. And I think Nitro got a little upset at me. Verizon, thanks for the Supreme for all the knowledge you taught us today. Very welcome, brother. Okay, I'm out. You guys have a good weekend. We'll be talking again. Again, click the link below.